Hi, and welcome back to Balls on the Pitch. This is episode number 6. And with me, as always, is...
Hussein Seif.
And I am Kareem Hosem. And today we have a wonderful little show for you, talking about 2 game weeks, not just one, because we missed out on the first game week for reasons that we all get busy. So let's just dive right into it, right, man?
It's the biggest thing to discuss is that Premier League football is back, which is awesome.
It is, my friend.
The season's finally started, and we actually have football to talk about, which is great. And both our teams have played, so a lot to talk about.
That's very true. A lot to talk about. Well, not a lot, but like we tend to go on, don't we? But like that's fine.
Well, yeah, that's the art form.
All right, so exactly. If you got the gift of the gab, you got to use it, don't you?
Exactly.
All right, so let's actually just jump right into game week 1, and let's talk about your team first before we talk about my team, because my team conceded a lot. Your team did not concede at all in the first game.
I mean, my team was pretty great. It was a great performance, 3-0. It's what you want to see. I haven't felt this good about an Arsenal team since the Wenger days. And Arteta has tactically he's miles ahead of probably the best Wenger teams towards the end there. So I just really enjoyed the game. Really enjoyed the game. Really enjoyed Gabriel, who was our new summer signing at defense.
Cool.
I thought we'd see Saliba in there, but I guess he wasn't quite ready. But even though Gabriel misplaced like 2 or 3 passes at the start and people were giving him some stick, at the end of the game he had that 95% pass completion and he dominated and he scored a header from a corner. So it was a great debut for him. With Saliba, I'm hoping it's going to be like a center back pairing that will make us a force to be reckoned with. Definitely wouldn't be a problem against the likes of Fulham. So there you go, 3-0.
Are you just like tossing David Luiz out of the window? Like
David Luiz is now like the bench cheerleader, kind of like Lovren. He's taken the Lovren role, and Socrates and Mustafi are basically dead to us, so we don't really like to admit that they're still at the club. Now the biggest surprise from the game though was Mohamed Nini, who's come back from a full season of football and just become, this midfield dynamo that we always thought he could be, this midfield engine. But he's basically our replacement for, the immature Guendouzi, who decided to what's the word, get too cocky or whatever at his young age. But it's really great to see Arteta give him a chance and see him perform well.
Yeah. No, I was actually really impressed with Nini. I was impressed with Nini in the Community Shield when you played us, because I was like, who is this player who has suddenly appeared out of nowhere, and Mikel Arteta is gonna make him into this world-class CDM, and I'm like,
yeah, exactly. We kind of barely lead there. We beat you in the Community Shield, which is what our last episode we talked about that. We beat you, so there's that. So we have those bargaining rights. So let the record show that in the 2020 season, Arsenal are better than Liverpool right now. So
hey, you beat us 2-1 in the last game of not the last game of the season, but after lockdown, you beat us 2-1 in that game, even though we ran you off.
Yeah, but you're
pitch.
still better than us that season because you won that season. But this is a fresh new season, my friend. so
I
mean, this season we won the Community Shield. So
true.
Well, let's see. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Look, for me, Oba just winning that game with the same exact goal that he scored against us in the Community Shield shows me that he's gonna be doing that quite a lot over this next season.
Yeah.
And it was just it's super how he does it is super impressive. If you look at the pictures from the Community Shield of that goal and the pictures from his goal against Fulham in game week 1, exact same picture. I think it's Maitland-Niles. Maitland-Niles makes the run sort of on the outside, so he takes the fullback and the center back with him, which then gives space to Oba to basically cut inside and take that shot. So it's just super. It's obviously something that they've been training on.
Yeah.
And it's just super cool to see it actually work out on 2 different occasions.
Exactly. It's like, the sign of something that's happening right, which is really encouraging to see. And the fact that Auba, just this week, which is the week after that game, they announced the fact that we signed him to his new deal, which was another amazingly huge event that happened on social media. And I know you're a big fan of the way that they revealed that as well.
Yeah, man. The way they did it so cleverly, in a sense of, I mean, having him go on like Instagram Live to announce his own contract renewal, that in and of itself is pretty cool. Genius. Because you get all the viewership of the sort of like the fans coming in, the fans sort of like interacting with Oba directly. You get all the sort of like teammates who are commenting on the live, so you see that sort of like instant reaction with his teammates live as you're watching it. So that's really cool. They also had like a live stream going on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at the same time, filming Oba going live from the Arsenal Instagram. So and then bringing in Lacazette and Ian Wright into the Instagram Live was just like it was all so well done. And it was just like, it was really fun watching it from like someone who enjoys social media and not enjoys social media, does social media for a living, so understands the sort of like the technicalities of it. So that was just super impressive from my perspective, because it, like, I understood sort of like how many views they potentially had running at the same time on different platforms. So that to me was just like really cool, to be honest.
Impressive.
Yeah.
They obviously put a lot of thought into it. I mean, they had a lot of time to think about it, let's be fair.
I mean, you don't know when he signed that contract, right? He could have signed that contract like 5 minutes before they went live.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll have to say, like, that wasn't even my favorite Arsenal related social media revelation, like, over the past week or week and a half.
What was your favorite Arsenal social media
revelation? Favorite Arsenal social media revelation has to do with Alexis Sanchez. And I knew there was a reason I had that shirt up, man, because once a gunner, always a fucking gunner. And he just, like, he's back in my heart now. Now I love him again because he said the perfect thing. He said the perfect thing. It's the best thing I've ever heard. Like, it undoes everything for me. Like, it undoes all the fucking hatred of him going there.
Was that when he talked in the interview about like the second day of him being at United?
Yeah, being at training and then asking his agent, "Can we rip up the contract and go back to Arsenal?" Wow,
it's so refreshing.
I didn't know Christmas had come early. Right? What a gift! What a gift! Like, this made my year. Like, you don't get it. Like, this made my fucking year. Like, way bigger than the Aubameyang thing. It's like, great, you signed the contract, but this is huge, dude. This is like
true.
Salvation, or like redemption of this horrible event that stained our lives. But now we get fucking we get to see the real trouble that man had to go through from leaving such a great club like Arsenal. People take it for granted, man. Ask Alexander Hleb, man. Ask Alexander Hleb. That motherfucker took it for granted.
He was running, like, he was coming towards the end of his career, like, at Arsenal, so he might as well go to Barcelona, where he's like, he can make like a couple of bob together, like in the last couple of years of his.
Yeah, it's fair.
And he wasn't even like
never quite the same,
best winger you've ever had. Yeah.
Yeah, but Wenger's that kind of guy. Though. Like, if you stay with Wenger, he would have had like another 5 solid years of like playing in the system, playing well. That's not what happened when he went to Barcelona, though. You know what I mean? So
I mean, that's always it. Going to Barcelona seems to be a curse, my man.
Yeah,
that's all I'm gonna say about it.
Dude, like, and that's exactly like what we were just talking. That's the biggest thing that's changed since we last talked, which is Barcelona did exactly what I wanted them not to do, which is they stuffed it in his face and the transfer. And then he came out and said in the Goal.com interview, which was amazing, he's like, the president told me, you can leave at the end of the season. And then he just kept telling me, just not now. And so it's like, oh, okay. So like every rich businessman is as sly and and manipulative as they come. And so, like, not only was it like some kind of bullshit legalese, it wasn't even that. It was as simple as a guy blowing Messi off. And that's like so fucking fucked up, dude.
It's ridiculous. It honestly is
Messi,
ridiculous
like this.
that
What more could that man have done to at least reserve the respect of giving you his word?
exactly. Like it's Bartomeu has always been like a fucking. To me, he's always been a stain on Barcelona. He's always been a stain on, and he has overseen the demise of one of the greatest football clubs of our like generation, in terms of how
Yeah,
they play, in terms of how they affected the game, and in terms of how they the type of players that we watched play for them over the last 10 years, and he has just been at the forefront of their demise, and it's sad. It's sad
true.
because they had something that was really, really like you would look at Barcelona and you'd be like, wow, they have everything. They have the best player in the history of the game. They have a brilliant stadium, a fantastic team, and then it all went to fucking shit.
Yeah,
It's honestly beautiful to watch, just because like it like you can't make it up. Like you literally can't make it up. Like you have all of the things to make it as successful as possible for a very an extended period of time, and you've just gone and like ruined it like that in like
yeah,
3 years. And it's crazy. And I mean, it's probably more than 3 years. It's probably like 4 or 5 years, but like
yeah. I mean, it was natural that they'd come back to the pack eventually,
yeah,
but like to have to stain it with like publicly, basically disrespecting the greatest player who's ever lived.
yeah,
It's like, you really think you're more important? It's like, the problem isn't that, you know, I guess the bigger problem is that you even let Messi think that to begin with. Like, that's just
yeah,
irresponsible, you
yeah,
know? Because, like, everyone knows Barcelona's not going to let Messi leave for free. So it was
yeah.
kind of like, on one level, it's naive of Messi and his camp to believe that. And on another level, it's kind of sneaky for them to let him believe that. So, you
Mm,
know, I, I obviously it's the president who's in the wrong and the club who's in the wrong for leading him on like that. But
yeah.
at the same time, like, no one in the right mind thinks that Messi could leave on a free,
True, true, true.
just by saying that. But if the president said that, like, I just think that's despicable, absolutely
I
despicable.
mean, if he gave like I'm always for like law legalities and contracts and whatnot, and you have to like state everything clearly so that you don't fall into this
Yeah,
into a loophole.
yeah,
But if this is a player, this is the best player in the world. This is the best player in the history of the game. If he has given you his life to maintain the standards of this football club and carry it for the past like 4 or 5 years. Granted, not greatly. They haven't made the Champions League final, and they've fallen and they've stuttered at several hurdles. But you can't put the blame on one person or the captain or the. It has to be a collective, and that's
hmm,
and that's where I think they've fallen. They've fallen because they have relied too much on one player for too long, and once you
yeah,
do that, things like if you don't have a squad that can help this one player, then you're basically setting yourself up for failure.
yeah,
Um, and that's basically what we're seeing in real time. Is that there's in-house fighting. There's a best player in the history of the game wanting to leave. Contract disputes. This player is like publicly calling out the president and saying he doesn't have a plan, and there hasn't been a plan for the past 4 years. It's like it's crazy. It's crazy to think like if and we've like with our clubs we've seen our
yeah,
our fair share of fucking shit from
yeah. Transfer wise,
boards to
yeah,
players to managers to everything. We've seen this type of bullshit at our clubs, but I don't think we've ever seen it to this extent or this sort of negativity or
yeah,
animosity.
yeah,
We've never really seen it in this sort of sense, and I think that's why it's the aspect of that, plus the fact that it's the best player in the history of the game with
yeah.
a team that everyone thought he would stay with for the rest of his life is just
Hmm.
mind blowing. It's like, Lord, guys, just give him what he wants. Just
Yeah,
give him what he
yeah,
wants. Simple as
yeah.
that.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we're gonna get to see Messi play for a whole other season
That's
at
true.
Barcelona,
Yes.
and we'll have to see if MSN trio actually ends up clicking or not. Well, no, that's the old one. Messi, Suarez, Neymar. The MSG, I guess.
But they're
GSM
getting rid of Suarez. I think they're in the
Juventus?
process of getting
Is that
rid of
what's happening?
Suarez.
Yeah,
I think he's going to Juventus, yeah. But there's nothing solid yet. Like I haven't read too much into that yet. So the last thing I read was Juventus, but I don't know like how far that's come along. There was talks of Memphis Depay. He would be a really good buy for
like
Barcelona.
The most underrated player ever, even though he's not underrated, but he's underrated for the fact the way he's rated is underrated compared to who he is. Like Memphis Depay is like a god amongst men, you know, but people don't think of him that way. As a player, like oh my Jesus Christ,
he's a great player. He's fantastic. I love him. There was talk about him coming to Liverpool around 2 summers ago, maybe, or last summer, something like that. And he was posting like pictures with Wijnaldum. And there was, what was it? I'm trying to remember if it was. I think he was going on holiday, and the plane that he was getting into, it was a private plane. It was a small private plane, but like it was all red. So that was just like, you know, when Liverpool fans saw that online, they were like, "Oh shit, he's doing it! He's coming to Liverpool!" And they went fucking bananas.
That's crazy.
Liverpool Twitter, Liverpool social media in general, the fan base is on a whole other level of crazy, of like tracking planes. Like we will come to this later, but like we on our Reddit page, like there was someone had actually like screenshotted a picture of a private jet that had taken off from Munich, Germany, yesterday morning at like 6 a.m. or something like that, and was arriving in Liverpool at around 8. And Liverpool Reddit just lost their shit. They were like, "Oh shit, it's happening! Thiago's coming!" And it was just like we've always been this type of fan base that just like takes it a step further of all right, we're investigating like what is happening, because we did this with Klopp as well. Like when Klopp was coming to Liverpool, they tracked his plane from Germany to Liverpool. It was like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen on our Reddit, on Liverpool Reddit for a while. But it's obviously like it's entertaining for me because it just shows you how beautiful and how sort of like connected the internet actually is. That you can track a transfer even when it's not confirmed as a fan, as a completely normal fan sitting at home.
And even when that plane is an empty plane, everyone can lose their shit and think it's a real transfer. Exactly. So on the subject of Liverpool, they had the most entertaining game of opening day maybe ever. I don't know.
Nerve-wracking, possibly.
Nerve-wracking for you, I'm sure. But
I mean, look, I've gotten used to this whole sort of like, if they score, we're just gonna score more. Like I've gotten to a point where I'm okay with having teams score against us, because I just know Klopp is gonna sit these players down at halftime and talk some sense into them and be like, "Yo, we're gonna score more. We can't, like, no matter how many they score, we're going to score more." And this sort of goes back to 2016, 17 Klopp, when he was like, "Fuck defense, we're going all out attack." And it was just about scoring more than your opponent. And that was basically it. So I think he's tinkering slightly with the tactics of how the team play. And he wants to basically attack things more rather than play on defense. But the fact that he's brought in Thiago gives you a sense of what he's trying to do. I think Thiago is going to bring that sort of like stability to our midfield that we didn't. I mean, not stability, but rather distribution. Our midfield is good, and it's they're hardworking. They're great players. I just don't think they have the distribution that could get the best out of our front three. So Thiago is that sort of player that will receive the ball, see the options in front, see the options to the side, see the options in the back, he's sort of like a combination of Naby Keita and Gini Wijnaldum in one player, playing with the calmness of Virgil van Dijk. Because you watch him, like I watch him in highlights and stuff like that, and I watched him like several times when Bayern were on their way to the Champions League final last season, and he is phenomenal. The way he controls a game is ridiculous. It's super impressive just watching him play, because he picks up the ball and he then just scans. He stands there with the ball and scans, and he's quick with his feet sometimes if he's being pressured. He just has all the attributes that will help this team sort of like if
confident.
Salah is making a run on the wing, if Sadio is making a run on the wing, if Bobby's making a run through the middle, he will be able to link up with these players and find that ball that is missing for us. I think Klopp had tried to bring in Ox for that reason, and we saw a little bit of that distribution in the beginning with Salah, especially Salah, because there was a really nice link between Ox and Salah in the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
And then Ox obviously got injured. So I think Thiago comes in and provides that sort of like really nice distribution of the ball across the field to our front players. So it's just going to be super fucking exciting to watch him pull on a Liverpool shirt and absolutely boss midfields in the Premier League.
I'm sure it will. I mean, maybe he'll help you beat Leeds a bit easier. But like, I think we're burying the lead because Leeds looked like a top 4 side. Like Leeds under Bielsa, oh my days. Like if they played like that against you, like how high up the table are they gonna go? You know, that was super impressive, dude.
I'm a huge Bielsa fan, man. I watched Bielsa with Leeds specifically the year that Frank Lampard was managing Derby in the Championship, and I watched the playoffs. The what's it called?
The playoffs where Derby beat them.
Yeah, I watched the Championship playoffs, and as a team, they're great. They're fantastic. The way they play is actually like tactically really cool. Like it's really. It has a bit of that old school sort of like grit and fight and tackles and all of that, but it also has a nice sort of like passing rhythm. It's quick, it's fast, there's movement, there's running. It's actually enjoyable to watch, and that's really refreshing from a team that's coming up from the Championship. But also, like, I put this down probably maybe, I don't know, 80 to 85% down to Bielsa and his tactics, because he is one of the master tacticians in the Premier League at the moment. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I mean, I just binge watched Take Us Home, even though that's not even from his last season. It's like 2 seasons ago, but it was mind blowing nonetheless. And I am super looking forward to watching them. I think they're going to be my second favorite team in the league now. I think they'll probably be everyone's if they keep playing like that. But Salah, I mean, I made a critical error. And I decided I would go with Mane in fantasy. So this was a big mistake. But like, okay, the fact that he takes the penalties, I should have seen that coming. I should have put him in just because he takes the penalties. But that second goal he scored, where he just blasts the ball, I was like, oh, he didn't come to play this season.
Oh, no, flawless. Man's not joking around. Man is not joking around at all.
That was a statement. I was like, wow, I love that.
Yeah, man, Lala. I feel like he's gonna have a big season this season. I think he's also part of. I mean, he just hit the ground running this season, and part of why I think that is because he's the whole personal records thing. I think gives him that extra motivation, that little bit of extra motivation. He's already very motivated to basically play well and play the style of football that he doesn't get and aim to achieve what all of the numbers that he does. But I think those personal records, they really push him as a player. And him scoring on this first day of the season means that he scored in 4 consecutive Premier League seasons on the first day of the season, which is a list that only includes him and Teddy Sheringham.
Okay.
So
That's
that's
been a while then.
yeah, it's pretty impressive to
Pretty
be honest.
impressive,
But
yeah.
like
Yeah, I mean, once you
like
win
I think
everything, that's what's
that's
left
what
for
he
you as a
pushed.
great player.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah,
mean,
get those
he still
accolades.
needs to win the cups, man. He still needs to win the cups. He's not won the Carabao Cup. He's
Oh,
not
who
won the FA Cup.
cares? Who cares, Kareem? Come on, man.
Man,
Let's not joke around.
win everything before you leave.
The Carabao Cup is a youth players' cup. Well, there's just first of all, FA Cup fine. Yeah, there's some gloss to that, and it's nice. And everything. But he doesn't need anything. Like he's already legendary.
Yeah.
But if
No,
he puts
no,
it,
no.
if he gets into like breaking records, no one will ever break until there's like another Muhammad Salah, then that's pretty cool. Bordeaux.
I mean, I think it's gonna be a while before anyone breaks his record of 32 goals in a season.
Probably.
Because that's quite. It's such a tough feat to achieve, and especially now, like if you look at this season is absolutely insane in terms of like the teams that are actually competing. Like the squads that these teams have is just wow, and it's like I think it's taken the Premier League to a completely different level. Like you had Zaman, like not Zaman, but like in the recent past. People talking about sort of like, oh, La Liga is better than the Premier League and it's blah, blah, blah. And it's the Premier League is 100%, hands down, better than La Liga right now.
Yeah, no,
like that's
true.
it's not even a discussion anymore. Because like you look at the squads and it's crazy. It's crazy
I mean,
what
look
the squads
at,
have.
Chelsea's squad.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, this
Exactly.
summer they brought in Hakim Ziyech from Ajax.
Yeah.
Who's an amazing player. They brought in Timo Werner, which we discussed.
Yeah.
And they brought in Kai Havertz. And it's like, okay, fine.
And Chilwell.
You couldn't and who?
Ben Chilwell, left back.
Oh, Ben Chilwell.
And they also and
they
Thiago
signed,
Silva on a free, and
oh yeah, did they actually get
who else did they brought in another centre back on a free from where was it? Was it Lille?
It might have been. I mean, I know they got a goalkeeper as well.
Yeah, they're in the process. They're in the process of finishing that deal. I don't think that's gone through yet.
Yeah,
but
maybe
but
not yet.
But yeah, they're in the process
neither of their three
getting
signings,
a goalkeeper.
Yeah, neither of their three signings scored in their first game. I don't even think all of them played, but I know that Werner played.
No, a few of them. Kai Havertz played. Was that? Yeah, Kai Havertz played. He didn't have such a great game. There were a few touches here and there that were pretty cool. He made a couple of through passes to Werner that were really exciting.
Nice.
You could just see sort of like these passes from midfield that were sort of like splitting the defense completely.
Nice.
And the runs that Werner was making for these passes are just like they're exactly why he's such a coveted striker, and why he's such a feared striker in Europe, and why he scores like all of the goals that he scores. So it's just gonna be super interesting actually watching this Chelsea team gel. Because it's very difficult to like one of the things that I've been talking about with the Chelsea fans that I know is it's pretty fucking easy to build a team with like £250 million in one summer transfer window. You can do that, but it's about sort of like how these players actually gel together and how these players work together, and if they work together. I mean, it's gonna if Lampard doesn't do something with these players, if he doesn't get at least top four, it's gonna be. I would call it a failure. I would call it. I mean, it's not a failure. Okay, it's progress. It's progress. It's progress. If he gets top four, then great. That's probably the achievement they have for this season. I don't think it would be realistic to put winning the Premier League as a
but if you give
thing
them the
that they
first
need
season,
to achieve.
Yeah, I think you give them the first season to gel, give them the first season to learn all those hard rainy day at Stoke lessons, and then the next season, then they get it, and they can come out and actually probably challenge next season.
Yeah, definitely.
Tottenham, who lost to Everton, after Jose Mourinho said at the press conference that he considers Everton a direct rival based on having Ancelotti and who they brought in, like James Rodriguez.
Yeah.
So he gives them that respect, and then they promptly beat him. So the respect was definitely deserved. But they also are planning on bringing back, and this I don't know if this is confirmed fully yet, but they're planning on bringing back Gareth Bale on loan.
Yes.
What's this?
I heard about that
big
too.
Yeah.
It's big news. I mean, look, Madrid have been trying to get rid of Bale for like a while now.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
look,
could you hate? Could a club hate a person more?
Exactly, right?
It's a fair question.
It's so publicly like evident to everyone. Like they don't even try to hide it. Like that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, look, I love Bale to death for that. I know it wasn't. Oh, hold on.
No worries.
We're good now. You can't have the club badge sort of like falling off.
Yeah, respect that.
All right, so yeah, Bale. I mean, it's so like the stunt that the Wales team did when they held the Welsh flag in front of him, and it said, did it say Wales and then golf and then Madrid in that order, or did it say golf, Wales and then Madrid?
I have no idea because this is the first time hearing of this.
Okay, so all right, so this was done. I think it was a match in the European nation, the UEFA Nations League.
Right.
So it was one of those matches, and they won that game, and then the team, there was obviously something happening between Madrid and Bale at that time, and his teammates on the Welsh team, they just celebrated after the game, and everyone's jumping around, and then they pulled this massive Welsh flag out, and they unfurled it, and they just held it in front of them as they were celebrating with Bale in the middle, and it said golf, Wales, Madrid, in that order. And it was the best thing I've ever seen, like, done to Madrid in my lifetime. Like, someone had the actual balls to tell Madrid to fuck off, and it was genuinely beautiful.
Beautiful. That is beautiful.
They've needed someone to tell them that for like ever since I can remember. Ever since I've been alive. That's
fair.
I've wanted someone to just go to Madrid and say, you know what, fuck you.
That's crazy. I mean, if I'm Bale, I'm probably a little pissed at them for that. Just a little bit. Just putting him on the hot seat like that. But still, that is really hilarious.
I mean, it's so well documented the troubles that he's had with Madrid over the years. Yeah. Just having players who are like teammates who are talking about, oh, he doesn't come out to dinner with us, or he doesn't speak Spanish, or he doesn't or he doesn't do this, or just leave him alone. He maybe he doesn't like socializing. Maybe he's just there to play football. Maybe anything.
Maybe the culture that you guys have is inherently toxic, and he realizes that.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe that's it. Or maybe he just wants to be left alone.
Exactly. So it's just been super funny to watch. Like, I know Madrid fans, and they always sort of like really go hard on Bale, and I'm like, why are you going hard on him? You're a shit club. You're a shit club who treats players like shit. You took Ronaldo, one of the top 5 players in the history of the game, and you booed him.
How are you talking?
Your fan base booed him, and they held like white handkerchiefs because they weren't happy with his performance. No.
Look, Spanish fans have a weird expectation. I think it might be the media, but it's also the fans. Like, it's the people are very
they're super
ungrateful.
Entitled. They're super entitled to like Loa we bought this player for a certain amount of money, so he needs to perform. And by the way, anyone who tells you Gareth Bale has not performed for Madrid, he has go check the numbers. Like go check the fucking numbers Bale has put.
He hasn't played for
Madrid. He's been injured.
And by the way,
several times.
There was a Champions League final where he came on and scored like a winning bicycle kick that like Zidane went like flicked his wrists over, and that wasn't even that long ago. Like,
What? Which
there's a Champions League final that Bale comes on. Huh?
He comes
final
on
for sure, and they win the final.
They win it?
Yeah, they won a Champions League final like 2 or 3 years ago. I know this for a fact. and Bale scored the winning. I'm telling you, this is why are you laughing? This is real. Bale scored a winning bicycle kick, and then after the interview, they asked him, "You must feel great about this," and he's like, "Yeah, I mean, winning this is good and everything, but I wish I just started the game." So he, I thought it was funny. Like, you just won the final, but you're complaining about having not started. I was like, okay, that's pretty funny too.
He throws so much shade, and I am so here for it. I love it. I absolutely love him throwing shade at Madrid. It's beautiful. The club fucked him around, and if the club fucked him around, then he has every right to just like, you know what, I don't want to transfer. I don't want to leave the club. I'm gonna remain here and make my paycheck. That is probably like a good paycheck.
Good paycheck, yeah. If you don't want to play me, don't play me.
Exactly. I have a contract. I'm gonna stay until the end of my contract. Simple as that. So I'm all for players just, I'm staying.
See you later.
I'm staying and you can't do anything about it. And you have to pay me. I'm all for, like, I'm on Bale's side in this whole thing. They fucked him around, and he's now fucking them around back. And that's basically it. If they find a good deal to like get him to Spurs, it'll be fantastic. Like, I would love to see Bale actually fall in love, back in love with football, because it is so obvious that he has fallen out of love with football at Madrid, and it's so sad because like he was such a fantastic talent when he was younger. Like at Tottenham, when you'll never forget those games of him just like tearing down the left wing against Inter in the Champions League when Spurs were not even a thing in the Champions League. So it's just seeing him go from that to what he's doing at Madrid. It's just so sad because he is a talented player, and his numbers for Madrid show that. I mean, it's not like he's putting up L's and zeros for Madrid. He's actually like won a lot of stuff, and he's helped them win a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So
well, Tottenham have wingers, and Mourinho said time and again this summer that we need a striker. So could it be that Bale is the striker that they're bringing in to play next to Harry Kane? Now that's interesting.
Possibly. Yeah. I could see it happening because they do have wingers. I mean, they've got some really good wingers. They don't have
a problem with wingers.
Exactly. So he might be coming in. I mean, he could come in as sort of like a backup.
It would be a bad move, to be honest. Like, it would be a bad move to come and take him in and his wages to play as a wing. Like, that's not what you need. You know what I mean? Like, you have Lamela, Bergwijn, Son, Lucas Moura. Like, so many good players who play wing. I don't know. But to me, it only makes sense if he's going to play striker or he's going to be like that in that kind of role.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see. It'll be really interesting.
It'll be super interesting. I mean, if he comes back to the Premier League, I will absolutely I will tune into Spurs games just to see if he plays and just to see if he does well. But I really do wish he does well because he's one of those players that I like. I think I've seen him develop over the years. I've seen him come into the game as a teenager, and I've seen him sort of like go through the motions and go through the stages that each player goes through. And I would just love to see him back in the Premier League doing his thing, running down the wings and smashing in goals. I think he's a little bit older now and a little bit. He won't play as much, but I think he'll be good to have in that Spurs squad. Because he has that connection with the fans. So it'll be nice to see how that connection sort of like develops once he's back. If he does come back, if the deal goes through.
Definitely.
But yeah, no, definitely. There's that sort of like there's that emotional factor to the move as well. Like it's not just a move out of like, I have no other option, so I'm gonna go to Tottenham. No, he's got options. It would have
been weird to see him somewhere else in England.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there was talk about him going to United, but I don't like that died down like ages ago, and I don't think United are in any position to sign a player of Bale's age and also of his wages. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, something to look forward to. Speaking of things to look forward to, we have a couple of games that are happening this weekend that we should discuss.
Yes, that is true.
Let's start with Chelsea-Liverpool. What do you have to say about that game? What are you looking forward to? What are you concerned about? Are you concerned? What do you think is going to happen?
I'm I'm concerned that that Chelsea team will click in our game specifically,
Of
just
all
to like
games,
piss us off.
yeah. Are you
But
concerned that Van Dijk will let a ball go over his head and then let the striker
I mean,
hit the ball into the net?
even if he does, I like I said, I've grown to a stage in my Liverpool support where I
Hmm.
trust Klopp and this team with with my life.
Implicitly, yes.
And like if they make a mistake, or if they have a goal score, if they concede a goal, if a player has an off day, I have the confidence that they will either score more goals than the opponent, or that player will be covered by the rest of the team in
Yeah.
that game. So it's just gotten to a point of like this confidence that, you know what,
We're gonna manage.
it's perfectly, yeah, we can deal.
Yeah.
We can
You
deal.
know what
And
you
that-
sound like? You sound like a Man United fan from like 10 years ago. That's the kind of confidence you have right now.
No. I'm
No,
not-
but I
I'm
mean,
not being
that's how
I'm
good
not
your
being
team
cocky
is.
about it.
No, I'm saying that's how good your
Yeah.
team is. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, that's
Like,
how good our team is.
Yeah.
But we also conceded 3 against Leeds, so like I'm not getting too cocky.
No, but
Yeah,
I
and
think that's Leeds.
I'm not getting
To be
cocky,
honest,
you know?
I don't know I don't think any other team does that. I think that was Leeds. I don't know. You know?
I don't know,
Leeds,
man.
Leeds is different, dude. You're
We
the
lost
first
3-0
team
to
that
Watford,
tasted
man.
Leeds. You lost to who?
We lost 3-0 to Watford. That was the first game we lost in the Premier League last season. Can you imagine going
that
like
was a while
27
ago. It's a
games?
different team. Different team. In the
It's the
past.
same team, man. We've just added a backup left back and Thiago. Thiago is gonna make a difference.
Is he
I
gonna
will
play?
say
You
it.
think? Does he go into the team right away?
In the Chelsea game,
Hmm.
I think it might be too early for him, but
Yeah.
I think he might come on as a substitute.
What's your predicted scoreline?
Ooh, tough one. That's a really tough one. Considering it's at the Bridge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at the
Chelsea
Bridge because we
Chelsea.
play Arsenal next at Anfield.
Oh shit.
Ooh, Chelsea at the Bridge. I am going to go. I'm gonna go 2-1 for us again.
I was just gonna say 2-1 Liverpool. That's what you're gonna say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna
a
say
classic
it's gonna be a
Bridge,
cautious
scoreline.
game. It's gonna be a cautious game, and it's gonna be a tight one, like last
Yeah.
season, definitely.
Okay.
Or
Okay.
we could have like a high scoring game, like the last like the last
Yeah,
game
just-
at Anfield, where we
Yeah,
won
yeah,
it
yeah.
5-3. So like you never know.
Yeah,
It could
just
go
add
two
a
either
couple
way.
of centimeters to the depth of Lampard's frown. Just just crush the team. Crush their spirits. Oh shit! 200
I
million
wish, man.
spending.
I
Didn't do
wish.
shit.
I wish.
Yeah.
It's
That'll
gonna be an
fun.
interesting game.
It's
though.
weird
It's
to
gonna
see
be
him as manager, to be honest. Like,
Is it
I'm
though?
only now coming to terms with it. That it's Lampard who's the manager, but he just seems something about it doesn't fit to me. Like he seems too worried. Like Lampard shouldn't look so worried. It's Lampard, you know.
But does he look worried though? Like I don't feel like he
yeah,
looks
yeah.
worried though.
No. There's like this level of stress that I see in him that you never saw as a player because he's so composed, you know. But there's this
True,
manager
true.
level stress which every manager has. But like on Lampard, it's just a new look. It's disconcerting almost to me.
True, I
know
get what
I
you
mean?
mean, but I think he's handling it. He's handling well. Yeah, he's handling management in general well. Like he did. He had a couple of good seasons with Derby,
Yeah.
in the championship, and they were actually like the same way Bielsa's team were entertaining to watch. His teams like his Derby team was actually like super entertaining to watch as well, because they were playing the same style of football that he's trying to implement at Chelsea, of this sort of like quick passing, quick movement, skillful players who are sort of like who have a bit of trickery and a bit of movement. I think he had Mason Mount at Derby, and I'm trying to think who else he had from the Chelsea academy. I think Tammy Abraham was in the championship, but I don't think he was at Derby.
He was
I think
with
it was,
Aston Villa.
was he?
Aston Villa, he was.
So, yes, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. But yeah, no, Lampard's team, Lampard's Derby team was actually like really super impressive to watch. They just didn't make that last step into the Premier League. which was
Yeah.
which was like it was terrible to watch as a neutral because like I personally wanted like Frank Lampard to come into the Premier League with Derby. It would have just been super impressive to actually like see him become a
Yeah.
manager and then instantly take his first team into the Premier League.
Insane.
It would have been
Yeah, it
super
would've been
cool,
crazy.
and like especially with the team that he had, they had a real bond together, and you could see that. So it just would have been really cool to see him in the Premier League with Derby
Yeah, it
before he
would've
moved
been,
to
yeah.
Chelsea. But like
Definitely.
he's I personally think he's doing really well at Chelsea so far. He's built this team really well so far,
I think so
and
too.
it's just gonna get more and more exciting from here on
Yeah,
in,
it's
man.
it's the scary thing about young teams. It's like you never know when they're gonna click, but you know they're going to at
Exactly.
some point.
Exactly.
Kind of like what happened with the young Arsenal teams back in the day, like the you know the Hleb Fabregas, Flamini days.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
on Arsenal, we're playing West Ham, so that's technically a London derby. But we'll
Mhm.
probably crush them about 4-0. Because they're
They
a
they
bit of
lo-
a joke.
did they lose two? Did they lose 1 or 2-0 to
2-0 to
Newcastle?
Newcastle.
2-0
So
to
if you're losing
Newcastle,
to
right?
Newcastle, you know something's up.
Hey man,
But
Newcastle brought in Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson, top English striker.
yeah, no, that's nice and everything. But like West Ham, like their women's team is GM'd by the owner's son, who's like 12. So like that tells you enough about the mindset of this football
Are
club.
they actually?
Okay, no, they really are, and there's like
No
a fucking
way.
reality show about it.
What?
Yeah. So like to me,
This
like
is the
as a
thing.
women's footballer, I'd feel disrespected. It's like, oh, you're giving your son us,
Yeah.
the women's team, as like a fucking project. This is a whole series of this on BBC. You can check it out. I swear to God. And it's live right now. Like they have the season. I think that's happening right now. I think, and they just got beaten like 8-1 by Arsenal women, of course. And فلا يعني, to be honest, when the first time I saw like that ad or like a clip of that show of like
Yeah.
the West Ham owner's son being the manager or like director of the women's team, I felt the fury of all feminists. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Don't give your why are you giving your kid this team? Give him like an under 9s team, for fuck's sake.
Anyway, I need to check this out, man. I need
Dude,
to,
it's
like,
so
see this
sad.
happening.
It's the worst thing that's happening in women's sports right now. It's underrated, under the radar, the worst thing that's happening. That's all I have to say about West Ham, dude.
Wow. Yeah, I can see why you think you're gonna beat them 4-0. I mean, they're not doing so well themselves.
Yeah.
So like,
I mean,
and Arteta's doing really well. So I can see you beating them 4-0.
Yeah.
So hopefully you do.
I mean, I've never really worried about West Ham. I haven't been worried about West Ham in a very, 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 very long time. So I don't intend on doing that anytime soon.
Oh. God damn, man.
I mean, West Ham only have one player that interests me, and that's Antonio, because like he just does things that you're like, how?
I love Antonio, man.
Yeah.
I will never forgive Roy Hodgson for not taking that man to the World Cup.
Oh, yeah?
Was it Hodgson or was it what's he called? Southgate. I can't remember who was in charge at the time, but there was like they didn't choose Michael Antonio after I'm trying to remember which season it was, but he had a crazy ass season. Like I think it was the season where he first sort of like really came onto the stage. Even though he's like old, like he's on the older like level scale of the age level. He's on the older side of the age scale.
Right. Yeah.
When he sort of like turned up on the scene, but he was so electric, man. In that first season when he came onto the scene, he was so electric. He was so exciting to watch, and he was like running at guys, and he was doing all these tricks. And I can't remember if it was a World Cup or if it was the Euros or I can't remember what it was. But I think everyone expected Michael Antonio to be selected for the squad, and he wasn't. And literally the only thing I can think of why he wasn't selected is that the manager had no idea he was British or English. Like, I am 100% sure this is why. Because
I had no idea until you mentioned this. I had no idea he was British.
Yeah, the guy's fucking English. The guy's English.
I had no
Can you imagine
idea,
like this guy on the wing for England in any competition?
Yeah, that's crazy. I had no idea.
It's like I will never forgive the England manager for not taking him to to whichever competition it was, because like we needed
Heresy.
like a winger like him. We needed someone who was fast, who was direct in the style of play, who was sort of like who would get into the these tackles and wasn't afraid of sort of like going for it. And the England team was missing that. The England team was sort of like they were still sort of like tinkering around with the young players. They had a few old players still around, and you could just see that the team was crying out for a player that was that sort of like direct, and he didn't get selected. And you're just like, who's watching? Who's making the decision of the players that get selected into the squad?
Yeah, it was probably just a squad harmony thing. He doesn't play with half of the Tottenham and Man United and
it's weird,
Chelsea
man.
players.
It's fucking weird. Yeah. Same thing with Grealish, man. I mean, Grealish. I think Grealish is a fantastic player.
The fact that he had to wait for someone to get injured or whatever to get into the team is ridiculous.
Exactly. It's just I don't get it. So sometimes the decisions to include or exclude players from the England squad, like, they really baffle me. Like they're just like, I mean, dude just had the season of his life. Why is he not there?
Yeah, but most likely the answer is because there's someone else that already knows the guys, you know.
Yeah, but I mean,
just so that the camp can be more harmonious and they can like gel faster.
I mean, the camp.
But you gel faster if you were winning. So you better might as well take the best players.
Did you see what happened with Phil Foden and who was the other guy? Mason Greenwood.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you playing at? What are you playing at? Like, as you're going away on a trip with the England national team, you're supposed to be representing your country, and like at this point, fuck nationalism and all of that.
Because you're not representing your country when you're alone in your bedroom. You know, you're just representing yourself at that moment. So,
but it's just it's so ridiculous, and especially. At this time when you're being asked to like socially distance, you're being asked. It's just like my man. It's you can follow your dick, but like not like that. not like that. Like, you don't have to like go following your dick when you're on national duty. You don't have to go following your dick when people. You don't have to go follow your dick in a pandemic.
Okay.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. They would have fucked with them if they were doing this and there was no quarantine restriction. They would have been like, "Oh, you're having women over," but like half of the people would have been like, "Okay, whatever, it's no big deal." But when you're doing it and you're breaking a pandemic, oh my god.
It's so ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. I don't get it. I don't get it, and I like. I'm glad that Southgate like actually like took them out of the squad because. Because it just you have to teach these guys. It's a responsibility to go on these trips. It's a responsibility to actually represent your country in a tournament, and like regardless of the England team doing shit in both those games, it doesn't change the fact that you have a responsibility. Even as a young player, I understand that young players will make mistakes and everything. I can't remember who was saying. It was Roy Keane, I think.
Roy I didn't watch it. I saw that clip. I didn't watch it though. What did he say?
Yeah. I caught like a little bit of it, and he was saying something along the lines of basically, like what's the use of like removing them from the squad at this point? Like, khalas, they've done what's wrong. They understand that it was wrong. Khalas, like you don't have to like remove them from the squad completely. Or that's at least what I understood from the clip. I might have understood something different.
They had to send them home anyway because of the quarantine shit, like, or they couldn't stay with the squad anyway, right?
Possibly.
But it's interesting that he defended them because that means like he's trying to be a softer Roy Keane because he's pretty well known to be like, you know, pretty no nonsense.
Yeah. I mean, he like, I get his point, but I also like, they have to learn a lesson. They have to learn a lesson that like you can't pull this shit. You can't just because you're this young footballer that has all this cash, that has all like everyone waiting on their hand and foot, and you can't like you need to learn about responsibility even from a young age. Stupid. Like, exactly. And
to be honest, go ahead.
I'm not one to talk about this because like as a Liverpool fan, because we had Trent Trent was one of the players. I think can't remember how long ago this was. Maybe like 3 years ago. But he got caught. What's it called? Sending messaging a pregnant woman who is married. On just like sending her messages on Snapchat.
Right.
I think he replied to like a snap that she sent of a banana, and he was like being weird about it and turning it into a sexual thing, and like
Right.
it was just such a weird thing. And I think these players at these ages, they just need to go through these things so that they can get a grasp of how the world works and how like they need to conduct themselves as football players.
A little bit differently, yeah.
Considering they have such a fan base.
Exactly. I think it's admirable how football players conduct themselves generally, but I also think that there's almost too much expectation built on these people, or we as fans and as the wider society, we build them up like to such a pedestal that we think of like these superstar players who are like only 23 or 24, and we think of them as these there's almost like this link in our minds where we go, oh, if he's so good at this, then he must be really good at everything else. And that's such an illusion, and that's something that I really have to keep reminding myself of, because it's something I fall into really easily. But just to remind myself that, these people they're still human beings, and a lot of them are kids. And I knew nothing when I was 23, 24. I mean, I'm 28, 29 now or whatever, and I still know pretty much nothing. But I knew a hell of a lot more than I did 9 years ago.
Yeah.
So like some of these superstars are expected to be pristinely mature, or you know what I mean, like exemplary. When that's kind of an unrealistic expectation. So I just think obviously they shouldn't have done that, but at the same time we need to understand that these are people, and no, definitely a little bit toxic, the amount of exposure we have to their private goings on.
Definitely, but I mean, this is what I'm saying about. I mean, they're 18 and 20. I mean, Phil Foden is 20, and Mason Greenwood is 18. So I get it that you're so, like you're away on a trip. You're sort of like you get
you're lonely. It's a pretty lonely life being a footballer.
Yeah. Exactly, and it's understandable that you want to get some pussy and blah blah and all of that, but at the same time, like
bleep that out.
We can bleep that
out. Just lost sponsors, Kareem.
They just need to learn. Like, I think it's just part of their learning curve as human beings, not as footballers, that this is something that they need to watch out for. It's something that I think like not all players go through, but unfortunately some players have to. Like I mentioned with Trent, Mason Greenwood and Phil Foden,
I think
they shouldn't be put in the spotlight, like you said. They shouldn't be put in the spotlight, but it's
particularly thick to do it on a away trip with the national team. That's just particularly
exactly.
Not smart at all.
It's irresponsible that I mean, you just open up yourself to the risk of these women probably have social media, and that's where it all came from. I mean, the social media, the screenshots and the videos that were spread on social media were from these women's Instagrams. Right. So it's just you leave yourself open to this sort of like thing when you do something like that. So it's just super important to be aware of how you act in this age, because you could be recorded anywhere. Literally anywhere.
And it's a permanent record, so things that are online stay there forever.
Exactly.
So it's a whole different ballgame. It's intimidating as hell. I worry about that all the time. To be honest, like when I was really young, like I think like 14, 15, and this might sound like pretentious or cocky or whatever, but I never worried about being successful. I worried about getting blackmailed. I kid you not. It's just like, what are they gonna get on me that is gonna make me like have to have to ignore my values or whatever and my ethics. Like, what are they gonna do? Like, and then I thought, like, what if I made a video, because there's this whole thing about like TikTok being a Chinese mining a data mining operation. And it's like, oh, they're gonna blackmail everyone. Like, that's the big narrative. I was like, would they really hoard all that data just so that they can blackmail people? Like,
exactly.
Would
Like,
they really? I mean, maybe they would, but like, if that's the truth, then why don't I just make a video? Like, why don't I just make a video like everything you could possibly blackmail for, and I'll just detail all my porn history, all my fucking like kinks. I'll give them like my kink.com, like, or no, like my BDSM test. Like, you can everything that's fucked up about
everything
what I like to do. Just you have it all. Like all the fucked up shit that I never want to tell everyone. You can have it. Can I be safe now? Can you leave me alone? You know.
I mean, thinking about it, like, just the way I deal with social media, there's nothing on my social media that I would be uncomfortable with someone finding. Let's put it like that.
Right.
So
me too. Yeah.
If someone finds something on my social media, it's there, and I've left it there because it's there.
You're all right with it. Yeah.
I'm fine with people seeing it. And if people see it and they're like, "Oh, well, this is weird," they can come ask me about it. It probably has like an interesting story to it.
Yeah.
Or it's just there for the memories.
It was 5 years ago, and I don't even remember writing that. That's a valid as fuck answer.
Absolutely.
Because half the things on our Facebook we don't remember writing, you know, or whatever, or on or Twitter. Like, I've seen posts from years ago where it's like, who the fuck wrote that? It wasn't me.
Yeah. I mean, it shows you how you've developed as a human being. It shows you, like, you can. It's a perfect example of, oh wait, I don't agree with that right now. I think in a different way. I think no, I don't think that's right. What I wrote back then, and it gives you that opportunity to be like, to showcase the fact that you can grow as a human being.
Right. There's this great saying, and I think it's like a Mesopotamian saying or something. But anyway, it's ancient, and it's like, no man walks in the same river twice, for it is not the same river, nor is it the same man. Right? So, you know, everyone constantly is changing. So to think of your personality as this stable thing is kind of not, it's not true. Like, everyone evolves. So that's the thing that we need to, that I am hoping that the internet won't let us lose sight of. It's like we're constantly evolving, and if we get too tied down to our profiles and we think of our profiles as who we are, or we think of like posts or news items as defining of people, we can really get confused as to how we judge people, I think, across time.
Definitely.
Yeah. But let's wrap it up by talking about those two players we just mentioned, teams who are playing. Man United's playing Crystal Palace. Man City's playing Wolves. So starting with Man United and Palace, that's a pretty spicy game. You have Zaha, who's you know, pretty good player, been wanting out of there for like 3-4 years in a row now.
Yes. It's so crazy to me how they haven't, like, how he hasn't gotten the transfer yet. I understand that Palace are asking for like 80 million, which is like, no one's gonna pay 80 million for Zaha. But it's crazy how, like, I need to check how long he has left on his contract, because like it's ludicrous. It's ludicrous to me that he's still there. Like, he has wanted that, like you said, he's wanted that transfer for like a good 5 years, myself. And the fact that he's still there is just wow to me. Like, it's just surprising that no one has actually come in and negotiated that 80 million down to, say, a more realistic 40.
Right. Exactly. I guess the club's very stubborn in that regard.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's much for Man United to be worried about. Do they have anything interesting for us to look out for? Did they sign anything?
United
they didn't sign Sancho, even though they
United
talked about it for the whole year.
United have had a shit show this transfer window, unless they pull off like something incredible towards the end of it. They have
when does
missed
the transfer
out.
window end?
Does it end? I think it ends sometime in October.
Right.
Wait, let's.
Do you think
let's
they're
actually
gonna try and
out.
get this Sancho thing over the line? Actually, because I heard someone.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I feel like he's gonna stay at Dortmund for another season. Yeah. He might go to them next season, but like I don't know. I haven't followed it. Like, I haven't followed the actual transfer except for sort of just like little tidbits here and there. But I highly doubt he's going to go to United this summer.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see it at all.
Well, I say Man United win that game 3-1. And I think that's reasonable. I think that's
3-1.
I'd be surprised if they don't win it.
Yeah.
Now,
Maybe
Wolves and
2-0.
City is
I'm going to go
more
2-0.
interesting game. 2-0. Okay.
I'm going to go 2-0 for you to United.
Yeah. Let's see. Wolves and City is probably the more interesting game.
Yes, definitely.
Viewing wise, two teams that play very lovely attacking football. And I guess Man City have a way more to worry about in Wolves' team than Man United would have about Crystal Palace. But it would be interesting to see how Pep plays the team, what team he puts out, and how Wolves set up to deal with their threat.
I mean, Wolves are they're an open team. I just love the way they play. They're very sort of like Wolves. It's understandable why they have this sort of like flair that they have because of all of the Portuguese players that they have, and because of Nuno Espirito Santo. NES. Yeah, NES. I always remember it from his initials on his what's it called? Right. His training gear. So Nuno has been such a refreshing manager to watch. Just to watch him navigate his how he's gone about his work since he's brought Wolves back, since he took over at Wolves. Mm-hmm. It's just been very interesting to watch because the way they play is very open. There's a lot of flair to it. There's a lot of you got Adama Traore on one wing, just like fucking bombing down that wing. You have Jimenez who's like banging in the goals. You have all of these Ruben Neves and João Moutinho in the middle. It's a sexy team to watch.
Sexy. Yes.
So like,
I mean, the most refreshing thing about Nuno Espirito Santos to me is that he's brown and has a nice big beard. I love that was like, I love you.
I love his beard.
As soon as I saw him, I was like, I love you.
I fucking love his beard.
It's good to see. Good to see for someone that looks like that to be a manager, because I was like,
true.
It's one of those things that makes you go, oh, okay, that's nice. Nice.
But
change.
they all, I mean, all like these. The sort of like the more European managers, like I feel like it doesn't really matter their skin tone or that sort of aspect. They're brought in sort of like on the fact that they have a bit of that European flair, that style of play.
So you're saying it doesn't count as a diversity hire because he's European?
I don't think so. I don't see it as a diversity hire at all. At all. I
don't know, man. Like for me, because as someone who likes to have a big beard, and that's pretty much frowned upon across the board here in Scotland, except for like a few people who live in the wilderness. But like Alex Ferguson is part of this like super, clean cut. Like if you don't have a clean shaved beard, I'm gonna shit my pants in rage. And I've never been about that, so. I just always liked the look of the guy. But then when I realized, oh shit, his team plays some really nice football, I was like, okay, awesome.
Yeah. No.
Did Man City sign anyone interesting?
They signed Nathan Ake, and they signed that kid from Valencia. Was it Valencia?
So no.
I think it's Valencia.
So
Ferran Torres.
Hard no. Okay.
Yeah, they haven't made. I mean, they're trying to sign. Last I heard was they were trying to sign Koulibaly. And if they make that happen, then that team is absolutely incredible. Again, I think they slipped last season. I would say because they didn't replace Vincent Kompany, because he was such a central figure to how fired up and how sort of like we're gonna do this and we're gonna like get across the finish line. He was such a big factor into that sort of mentality that City had. And when they let him go, they didn't replace him. The replacement for him as captain and as centre back was Fernandinho, who was already there.
Has he only been gone one season? That's crazy.
Yeah, I think he's only been gone one season. No, I think so.
But whatever.
But Fernandinho
In
is
any
not
case,
is
yeah.
not that type of like fire player
Yeah.
that you're such, oh, let's go,
Yeah,
we're gonna do
leader.
this.
Yeah.
He's not that. And
Yeah.
once you like take that out of a dressing room, it's very hard to
replicate,
recreate that sort of vibe and energy.
Yeah, you have to have that kind of person. It's a personality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's
Not
just
to mention the ability. Yeah. So.
yeah, exactly. He's one of the best center backs that we've seen in the Premier League, yani. But yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be super interesting watching both these teams face each other, because they're both open teams. They both know how to attack. Their defenses are a little bit shoddy, both of them. Wolves not so bad at defense. They actually have a former Liverpool academy graduate in their centre back pairing. Connor Cody.
Okay.
Connor Cody is a proud Liverpool graduate. He's a proud Scouser as well.
Good.
And I think he might take a little bit of pride in putting one past City for us.
Okay. Well, do you think he will? Or what's your predicted scoreline for that one?
What are we playing? Are they playing home or away?
It's at Wolves.
It's at Wolves. Ooh, I could see a sneaky 2-1 for Wolves. I could see that happening.
Okay. Yeah, that would be interesting. I'm gonna go 3-2 Man City.
Interesting.
Into
I like
good
that.
game.
I like that.
Yeah.
I would like to watch that game.
Yeah, hopefully it's because that's what I want. I want a good game. 5 goals scored, but
Yeah.
Man City gets
Yeah.
last 10 minutes like Pep Guardiola on the floor, like squatting down, tension, just waiting, and then Sterling misses and he faints, but then somehow they get a penalty or whatever, and then they
Of course, as usual.
Yeah.
All right. So if you've enjoyed this episode, do like, share, and subscribe. Leave us a comment down here.
Boom, 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 boom.
Tell us if you
whatever.
So wherever we send the
left,
subscriber.
probably.
My left.
To your
So
left, to
here?
your 8 o'clock or whatever.
My 8 o'clock is down
right
here.
there. That's good.
Oh, down here. All right.
Yeah.
so right down here, you can
got it.
subscribe. If you liked what we're talking about, if you want to give us some pointers about other things you want us to talk about, feel free to leave it in the comments. We will take a look at them, and we will hopefully take it into our next episode.
Yes.
So till
Please
then,
do. Yes.
I have been Kareem Hosem, and with me is,
Hussein Seif.
and thank you for tuning in.
See you guys next time. Bye bye. Cool.
I like it.